Maybe.
اللهم صل علی محمد. بگم مرگ بر کی؟
بگم مرگ بر کی؟
سه تفنگدار.
Yaşasın Azerbaycan.
اوکی فعلا که آذربایجان اینجا در اکثریت قبول.
Azerbaycan. Bu neydinden bu beden?
من اتفاقا میخواستم بهت بگم همون موقع اگر مد داری برام ایمیل کنی من یه 4-5 تا پرینت بگیرم ببرم هم بزنم تو CCTV هم بزنم تو شلتر.
Every time you come, this is the daily one. I just
چی شد کجا؟ جمیله من دیدم بهش آدرس دادم. دیگه میگفتی کلاه می آوردیم جمع میکردیم. کلاه
Shoplifters of the world. Yeah.
Who does it?
This beautiful.
What does mean shoplifters?
Where's your man?
Yes, but you're the only one who can identify them. Shoplifter, that's
Yes, I do this every day. The message we're delivering is that there's too many white people here with a bad sense of climate. But we don't have rhythm. Not only do we not have a raise, we don't have rhythm. It's funny. That's it.
My second
I know how to work it.
Move this side for you.
Push it. Back it up.
Yes.
This might be louder. I don't know. It is. It is. So louder.
Oh, yeah.
So folks, we got to gather a little closer. We got to not block the way. The police came yesterday. Yeah.
Why?
Because someone complained that we were blocking the bus.
Welcome everybody
Hello?
to the afternoon shift. Even though you've been here since this morning. That's what I mean. We're going to be down, but
How close are you?
so I just want to go over a few things. So first of all, the sort of boring, nitty-gritty guideline stuff, and then I'm going to respond to the memo that Maureen put out. So first, Again, just to reiterate that we want people to stay away from the bus stop if possible, especially when the bus comes so that we're not blocking people getting on and off the bus. And also, in terms of signs, if we could just be careful with the use of the word fair. There were a few that were very obviously directed at Maureen, and we don't want this to become personal. So we can certainly have the word fair in there, but don't underline it and make it bold, because that could be construed as being very personal, and we don't want this to become a personal attack on anybody. So on the next thing, there's been some confusion about how the strike pay works. So I just want to clarify that. If you are 50, you will get paid up to a maximum of $40 a day for the hours you work, and up to a maximum of $200 a week. If you work for 3 hours, you'll get paid for 3 hours. You don't have to for 4 hours to get paid. But we do want people to be here for the 4 hours, if that makes sense. Or 6 or 8. You can definitely stay as long as you want, but you only get paid for 4. It's okay. You stay with the rest of us. All right. So also, I got to respond to Maureen's email. I don't know if everybody's seen it. It's posted up on the various locations. There's one there. There's one up behind me. Yes. So they've given management's perspective on this. It is their perspective. So there's nothing in there that's false, but it is a spin that we don't agree with. One of the things we talked about is the pay equity payout that we had a couple of years ago. That is irrelevant. They were obligated by law to pay those amounts of money. So it is not something that has anything to do with the current round of bargaining. Okay. With that process of developing the pay equity, it became apparent that some positions were being underpaid, but because it's not related to the gender of the people who have been in the position historically, they weren't entitled by law to a payout. Those are the internal equity people, or what we call internal equity. Because it just means that compared to the rest of the people at St. Chris, their work is being valued differently. We would like everybody to be up to where they should be. Obviously, that can't happen right away, because it would seriously undermine the organization. We can't afford it. Some people are underpaid by about $4 an hour. So when they talk about the fact that they're giving increases, 50 cents an hour next year and the following year, two people select 75 people, that's just to bring them into line with where they should be, and it's only a very small start. So it's not a legal obligation, but it is a moral obligation. They also say, oh yeah, well we're giving people a 30-cent increase in 2014. Well, we've already given them an increase in 2009, so that's 4 years, so we will be without an increase. So even though there's nothing wrong with what you're saying, they are making it sound like we're getting a lot more than we are actually getting.
Well, there was some comments that were made on the media regarding the union. They were saying that the union yes, right? The union action.
Another media headline in the memo and evolution of media is that the union has been stifling negotiations by not giving our demands until 6 o'clock the day of the strike deadline. That is not true. We gave them almost all of our financial demands except for the wage proposal 2 years ago when we gave them our first demand. The wage proposal, we wanted to discuss some other issues before we got to the wages. So our offer of a wage proposal doesn't make a significant difference to what they're going to offer us. They make it all, but we could say, well, we want a $10 an hour increase every year for the next 5 years. They're not going to pay any attention to that. So it's disingenuous to say that we did not give them our proposal until 6 o'clock. They had all of the other things that we were asking for, the vacation days for part-time, sick days for part-time, benefits for part-time.
ساعت 3 با یه پسره قرار دارم به خاطر ورزش اون مثل شاگرد منه دیگه اون میتونم مثلا برم مثلا
خواستی میتونی بری
مقداری شکونه که اون قرار داشت
خوش هر موقع خواستی برم اینجا هم میخوای خود ببری اینجا رو بده بعد
Can we contact you?
There has been talk. We don't talk at this point directly with management. We talk with the conciliator, and the conciliator will talk to them and then talk to us. There is discussion about getting back to the table, so we are going on to the ball in the airport at this point, so they have to respond, but they seem willing, we seem willing, so it is possible that this is after. Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
به آقا داریش معذرت منم بگوین باشید
باشه
خدا
قربونه
We'll get it together, stay together.
I think what Howard said that I'm telling them that they need to stop us. So let's keep going. Let's
Yes.
call your, our co-workers and bring them to the picket line.
Yes.
You'll be here, you'll be here.
We will.
Okay, folks, the other thing we want to let people know is that tomorrow there is another QP Local 966, which represents welfare and ODSP workers in Peel. And if you can imagine, they've been on strike since May 10th.
Wow.
And there is a rally tomorrow in Mississauga, Square One. I think it's from it's at 1 o'clock till 3. So for everybody, anyone that's here for the afternoon shift, anyone that's here in the morning shift that wants to stay, there will be a QP bus that's going to come here at around 11:30, and the majority of us that are here on the picket line, we're going to leave a few folks, but the majority of us are going to go on that bus. It's going to go from 12. It's going to be back here at 4 o'clock to show our solidarity with the workers in Peel, and also to get the message out of what's happening with us, what our situation is here at QP 3393, and also talk to them about, if we do end up having some kind of rally or some kind of similar rally here, which we're still discussing because there's so many things happening, to get some of the 966 people also to come here and support us. So who's going on the bus will be the majority of the people, as long as you can be gone and be back at 4, which I think is people's shifts. And there'll also be some other people from the Toronto, the Toronto Workers Assembly and other community organizations will be leaving. So tomorrow the majority of us go from 12, come back at 4 to show our solidarity with Peel. And it's also a chance for all of us to see that, this is not an isolated issue. These tough negotiations, particularly in community agencies and social services, is not isolated. And also for you to talk to other workers that are facing also a very difficult process. And this is day 3 of our picket line, and I think we're strong. Are we still strong? These folks have been on the line since May 10th, so us taking the time and being there, as well as all the other allies, is really, really important. So folks, since we started the picket line, okay, so I said this morning, everybody in the labor movement and in community social justice organizations are well aware that QB 3393 is on the picket line, willing to negotiate for a fair and equitable contract for the last 3 days. There will be an article tomorrow. I think we're expecting there'll be an article in the Toronto Star, the GTA section. So now the issues that we're dealing with here are now going to be in the broader public in the city. Pretty well everybody in Toronto is going to know what's happening here at St. Christopher House and with QB 3393. So we can expect more attention. Also, I think people in the neighborhood, some of them have seen us here for the last 3 days, but maybe they're not too sure why we're here, why we're on strike, what the issues are, that we're wanting to get back to the table and how they can help us to do that. So when they read the article tomorrow and Queen and Ossington is in the GTA, we can expect more people from the neighborhood here to come around and say, hey, I've seen you folks for the last 3 days, but what's happening, right? What's happening? What's going on? And I think, and the message I think to people is, we're here, we want a fair and equitable contract. Please contact the executive director and contact St. Christopher House. Tell them, let's get back to the table. We want to work. We want to continue providing the services to the people that we work with day in and day out. And we also, the last thing is we have a leaflet. We're waiting for more copies. So we have a leaflet which is in English, which explains our perspective and our issues. And it's going to be translated into Portuguese tomorrow. So later on this afternoon, we're going to need some people. We already started doing this, to go to the different businesses, to stand in the other corners of the intersection, and to give the flyers to people in the area. And it also has the info for people to contact St. Christopher House, okay? So we can start getting the word out. And we're going to have some guests soon, I think from the steel workers, from the Greater Toronto Workers Assembly. So we're going to get some messages of solidarity soon, as we've had every day this week. People's needs, social needs, people who dedicated their lives to actually helping other people and actually arguing that this is where the social resources should be going. And the governments are basically saying, we don't care. And actually, they are saying, we really don't want you to provide all that money because we don't respect the work that you do, and so people can be out there desperately working for less. They cut, you heard what they did to employment insurance. You heard what they're doing to every time somebody strikes in the private sector or in some kind of transportation, they say, oh, this is going to end it. This is going to destroy the economy. And before people sneeze or scratch their armpits, they're legislating back to us. This is a very important sector for all of us. The work that you do is critical, and we are very, very honored to support you. And people from all over the public sector and the private sector hopefully will come out and not just be here to support your picket lines, but also to learn about the work that you're doing and to tell other people just why this is so critical for all of us. So thank you very much for doing what you're doing. And
Thank you.
There you go, son. Press the sound trigger.
Yeah, like Herman, I just want to thank you all because you're doing something for everybody here. And I think one of the lessons we're going to have to learn as we go through this is that it's people like you who really are representing what's best in society. And the whole labor movement has to take on this issue of being the leader in fighting for social services. It should, we're going to have to get beyond it being taken on one by one. It's going to have to be a fight of the whole labor movement. And one of the things we really have to take on, which you're fighting every day, is the question of larger inequality in our society. Over the last quarter of a century, there's been an amazing growth in inequality. The rich don't want to pay for these kinds of services, but they can live without them. And this is such an important struggle for all of us. It's ongoing in small ways. We just have to make it bigger. Wish you the best, and thanks again for the solidarity and the work you're doing.
Thank you.
Thank you. You don't have to whisper it. Say it proud.
Billion, I'll take it.
You just wanted everybody to know that he's supporting.
Unless anybody of our membership, if anybody wants to say something, are we okay to just keep moving? So let's try to get that picket line moving, folks, please, and let's give room for the bus. Be careful when the bus comes, please, so keep everybody on this side of the